I want to talk to you today about comparing fractions in third grade, but before we look at third grade, let's take just a minute to review what our students did with fractions in second grade. In second grade, our students partitioned circles and rectangles into halves, thirds, and fourths. They didn't use symbols. They didn't use a numerator and a denominator and a fraction bar, but they did use these words, halves, thirds, and fourths, to partition circles and rectangles into fair shares and equal pieces. All right, third graders, we will use symbols. We will use numerators, denominators, and fraction bars for our fractions, and we will limit the fractions to fractions with a denominator of 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. So we should really be firm in these denominators and building wholes with these size pieces. These number of pieces, I guess I should have said. All right, in third grade, yes, we will use parts of a whole. We will use this area model. So that is 1/4 of the entire rectangle. We will use this measurement model or a number line model. All right, this is 1/4 the distance to one whole. In third grade, let's not use fractions of a set. In other words, while this is 1/4 of the set of 4 circles, we want to deal with wholes and the distance to 1 in third grade as opposed to fractions of a set. Okay, so let's talk about comparing fractions. In third grade, we should compare fractions with common numerators and common denominators. So let's look at this one, 2/8 and 2/3. We have a common numerator. We have 2 pieces here. This fraction represents 2 pieces out of the 8 total, out of 8ths. Here we've got 2/3, okay? Same number of pieces and the same size whole. That's very important. These papers are the same size. So here we've got 2 shaded and here we've got 2 shaded because there are 8 total pieces in this shape and 3 total pieces here. These pieces are smaller. So 2 small pieces is less than these 2 larger pieces, and that size of the piece has to do with the denominator. Okay, so building those wholes is very important in knowing how big our pieces are. Okay, same problem, different visual representation. Okay, here we're using the number line to show that 2/8 and 2/3 are in different spots on the number line, and that 2/3 is much closer to 1. So 2/8 is less than 2/3. All right. In addition to common numerators in third grade, common denominators should be used to compare fractions as well. Okay, so if I were comparing 3/4 and 1/4, I might draw a picture that looks like this. 3/4, 1/4. Well, if I have the same size whole, which you should if you're comparing fractions, they must be the same size whole, 3 pieces is more than 1 piece if the shape is partitioned into the same number of pieces, and that's what that denominator tells us. So we can visually see that 3/4 is greater than 1/4. All right, the other model that we might use in third grade to represent this would be this number line model. Okay, oh, I'm going to cover it up, but y'all get the idea, right? Well, here we go. Okay, so we've got 1/4 of the distance to one whole and 3/4 of the distance to one whole. We can see here that 3/4 is much closer to one whole. It's only 1/4 away from being a whole. So 3/4 is greater than 1/4. So when you are comparing fractions in third grade, make sure you are utilizing fractions that have common numerators and common denominators. Thank you.